Welcome to the reading of the Times Reporter newspaper for Monday, October the 12th. My name is Pam, and let's begin with the area death notices. Melvin Barnett of Detroit, Michigan, previously of Yorksville, Ohio, passed away peacefully on Saturday, October 3rd. In keeping with his wishes, there will be no services or calling hours. Claire D. Bloch, 94, of Sugar Creek and formerly of Edgewater, Florida, died Friday, October 9th at Park Village Care Center in Dover following a period of declining health. Services will be held on Tuesday, October 13th at 2 p.m. at Smith Barnes Funeral Home in Sugar Creek. Friends may call on Tuesday from 12 p.m. noon to 2 p.m. at the funeral home prior to the services, with facial masks being required and social distancing being observed. Emma Jane Dupler, age 92, of Dover, passed away Friday, October 9th in the New Dawn Retirement Community following a period of declining health. Family and friends are invited to call at the Tolan Herzig Funeral Home and Crematory in Dover on Tuesday, October 13th, 5 to 7 p.m. A funeral service will be held Wednesday, October 14th at 11 a.m. in the funeral home. In honor of Betty Huff's recent passing, a celebration of life will take place for friends and family on October 24th at 3 p.m. at Dover Bible Church in 4173 Menard Road in Dover. Renee Kumbera Miracle passed away October 4th at the age of 80. A memorial celebration will be held at the Trailhead, 21 West North Street, Akron, on Saturday, October 17th at 2 p.m. Social distancing and masks are required. Fanny M. Schrock, 66, of 7470 County Road 77 in Millersburg, passed away at the Altman Hospital on Saturday, October 10th, after a short battle with lung cancer. Funeral services will be held on Monday, October 12th at 9 a.m. at the Atlee Kaufman Residence, Millersburg. Friends may call after 2:30 p.m. on Saturday and any time on Sunday at the Kaufman Residence. Well, that concludes the death notices listed in today's online edition of the Times Reporter. So let's begin with our first story. Yorksville woman and two young girls die in a crash near Tappan Lake by Lee Morrison. 3 people, including 4 and 6-year-old girls, were killed in a 2-vehicle head-on crash Saturday on U.S. Route 250 in Harrison County, just east of the line with Tuscarawas County, according to state troopers with the Steubenville Post of the Ohio Highway Patrol. Victoria Risley, 52, of Yorksville, was driving a 2007 Toyota RAV4 westbound when she went left of center, striking a 2019 Peterbilt truck driven by Henry McNutt Jr., 55, of Dover. State troopers said Risley and her young passengers died as a result of the crash. The names of the girls were not immediately released. The crash in the Tappan Lake area was reported at 11:38 a.m. and Route 250 was closed from State Route 800 at Denison to the Route 250 US 22 interchange near Cadiz. State Route 151 also was closed at Route 250. The roads reopened to traffic at about 4:30 p.m. Harrison County Sheriff's officers, Ohio Department of Transportation personnel, SCIO Volunteer Fire Department members, Bowerston Volunteer Fire Department members, and Harrison County Coroner's Office personnel assisted at the scene. State troopers continue to investigate the crash. Up next, Teens to be Required to Remedy Graffiti by Nancy Molnar. In Dover, teens who painted graffiti on about 60 trees along 2 trails at Dover City Park are going to be required to remedy the damage. Park Superintendent Scott Girls said they will paint over the messages in colors of gray, black, and brown to camouflage the messages. You can't go in there with aerosol vandal paint remover because that would further harm the tree, he said. The paint is obviously not going to hurt the tree. The trees will be fine. Dover Police Patrolman Daniel Colser said the parks did not want to pursue criminal charges against the perpetrators, who were identified by Dover High School staff. He said the graffiti was not painted maliciously. Most of the graffiti was like "Go Dover," he said. The messages were apparently painted to encourage participants in the Tuscarawas All-Country Cross Country Championship held at the park on September 29th. The park trails are used as the high school's cross-country course. The damage was reported to police on October the 2nd. It occurred along the Kiwanis Trail and the trail that runs parallel to the road leading to the pool, according to Jules. Up next, Dover native now in charge of Union Hospital Security Department. The Cleveland Clinic Police Department has announced that Dover native Tori Biddle was promoted to police sergeant on October 1st and officially is in charge of the Union Hospital Security Department. Commander Anthony Retzel of the Cleveland Clinic Police Department congratulated Sergeant Biddle, who was acting police sergeant at Union Hospital for the past several months. Biddle was born at Union Hospital and is a 2003 graduate of Dover High. He has been a Cleveland Clinic police officer since 2008 and has previous experience as a law enforcement officer with the Newcomerstown and New Philadelphia police departments. In 2016, Biddle was presented with the Jason Gresko Award, a prestigious award given to police officers who consistently go above and beyond the call of duty and honors deceased Cleveland Clinic police officer Jason Greco, who died in the line of duty while responding to an emergency call. In 2019, Tori was named the Cleveland Clinic Police Officer of the Year, mainly due to his work running the Jason Greco Foundation, as well as his diligence transforming the department's training bureau. He has an associate's degree from Hocking College in police science. Up next, one person dies at motorcycle crash near Port Washington. In Port Washington, the driver of a motorcycle died as a result of injuries suffered in a one-vehicle crash on River Hill Road near River Road early Saturday, according to Sergeant William Bauer of the Ohio State Highway Patrol. The Highway Patrol is investigating the accident that occurred around 12:30 a.m. just outside Port Washington in Clay Township. The eastbound 2017 Harley-Davidson traveled off the left side of the road and hit a guardrail, Bauer said in a press release. And now, Saying Goodbye to the 6 Mile Dam in Warsaw by Irv Oslin. On Monday morning, an excavator trundled onto a stone causeway behind 6 Mile Dam. The boom of the excavator arched over the concrete rim of the dam, a big hydraulic hammer poised to strike. At 8:37 a.m., a warning beeper sounded. Seconds later, the hammer thrust into the concrete with a loud pock. So began the removal of the 6 Mile Dam. At 8:37 a.m. on October 5th, the hydraulic hammer strikes the first blow, starting the demolition of 6 Mile Dam. By winter, the 300-foot dam on the Walhonding River in Coshocton County will be gone, pretty much without a trace. It will have been reduced to rubble that will be integrated into the riparian landscape. In March, the riverbanks will be restored to a more natural state. After the north end of the dam was dewatered in preparation for demolition, it was plain to see why it had to go. The northern section had sunk a foot lower than the rest of the dam. Near the north wing wall, a foot-wide crack extended from top to bottom, where it opens up into a 3-foot hole. In 2010, inspection divers found a 10-foot scour hole at the base. Let's talk about some history. 6 Mile Dam was built in the late 1830s and rebuilt more than 110 years ago. It has been on the Ohio Department of Natural Resources radar for some time. The postcard showed the 6 Mile Dam on the Walhonding River in Coshocton County prior to 1916, before the canal was excavated and part of the land above the dam became an island. Mike Greenlee, fish management supervisor with the Ohio Division of Wildlife, said if the dam were to fail, it could result in loss of life and severe property damage downstream. ODNR began 6 Mile Dam decommissioning 10 years ago. Stantec, an engineering consulting firm, was hired to conduct a study and permitting work. 4 alternatives were considered, including total removal. Full dam removal provides the greatest ecological benefit, greatest benefit to public safety, and is the most economical alternative for long-term maintenance of this site, Greenlee said. The estimated project cost is $1.8 million. Historic preservation is a significant component. The original timber dam was built for the Walhonding Canal. An intact lock chamber sits on a man-made island just upstream of the dam. In the early 20th century, the dam was rebuilt. At that point, it was covered with concrete and an intake chamber built on the south bank to supply water to Roscoe 6 miles downstream. The water powered a hydroelectric plant which operated until 1952. ODNR hired Lawhon and Associates for historical documentation and enlisted the Canal Society of Ohio, the Walhonding Valley Historical Society, and Ohio History Connection for guidance. Plans call for establishing a designated state historical site with an informational kiosk and part of a feeder canal control gate on display. A causeway will provide access to the island for viewing what had been Lock 5 of the Walhonding Canal. One of 3 control mechanisms atop the intake chamber. One will be placed with a planned kiosk on the north bank of the river for visitors to view in a historic park. On September 30th, Mary Starbuck and Terry Woods of the Canal Society of Ohio visited for a pre-demolition briefing with ODNR. Years ago, Woods wrote a book about the ill-fated Walhonding Canal. The title speaks volumes, 25 Miles to Nowhere. For various reasons, the canal proved to be a boondoggle from the start. Ultimately, it extended north to the Mohican River, just downstream of the present-day town of Cavallo. In his book and subsequent writings, Woods described how the dam was built and later rebuilt atop timbers. Early on, issues arose with the northern end. Part of the problem might have been that, unlike the southern section, it wasn't anchored in bedrock. In 1916, a levee was built along the southern riverbank and a canal dug to divert current and ice flows away. This created the island upstream. Mary Starbuck and Terry Woods of the Canal Society of Ohio discussed the demolition of the 6 Mile Dam, which began October 5th. Wood wrote a book on the Walhonding Canal, for which the dam originally was made in 1840. It later was repurposed and rebuilt to feed water to a hydroelectric plant 6 miles downstream in what would later become Roscoe Village. During their visit, Starbuck and Woods spoke with Greenlee and recorded a video of Woods explaining the history of the dam and canal. This will be preserved as part of ongoing documentation. Additionally, Gannett Fleming Incorporated has been commissioned to take drone footage throughout the process. ODNR photographers will also document the project and artifacts. They are particularly interested in preserving relics retrieved during demolition. Some could provide clues about the dam's construction and reconstruction. Pay dirt. On Tuesday morning, Chet McCormick and Brad Tallerito of Safeco Environmental Services, the company doing the demolition, hit pay dirt. They retrieved a 15-foot timber that had been driven into the riverbed. Prior to that, they had unearthed small pieces of timber, different styles of rebar, and iron spikes. The spikes would have been used to bind timber or attach concrete to them. This timber was recovered by a demolition crew October 6th at the 6 Mile Dam. It had been driven into the riverbed vertically. Chet McCormick and Brad Tallerito man excavators atop a 6 Mile Dam on the morning of October 5th, the day of the demolition began, first blow. McCormick and Tallerito operated excavators in tandem, maneuvering them around the 30-foot wide causeway they had built above the dam. One excavator chipped away at the dam, the other used a backhoe to remove chunks of concrete and debris. "That concrete was a lot harder than we thought," he said. Throughout the day, campers at Whispering Falls Campground came to the riverbank to watch. The state owns the dam, the island, and a strip of land along the north bank upstream. Whispering Falls, Inc. owns the ground the dam was built on and both sides of the river downstream. The campground owners and the state worked out an agreement so the dam removal could proceed. As part of that agreement, ODNR will use stone and concrete from the dam to shore up the north bank of the river to protect the campground from flooding and erosion. Over the years, erosion has taken its toll in front of the campground. Rick Smith, 67, caught the early stages of demolition. His family started camping there in 1960. "It's been a big part of my life," Smith said. "For me, it's a sad day. For younger folks who haven't been here a long time, it's just progress to them." His father was among the investors who purchased the campground in 1978 from the original owner. Smith inherited his father's shares. His late mother came up with the name Whispering Falls after the campground changed hands. Smith lamented that once the dam is gone and the constant sound of rushing water silenced, the name will no longer fit. The fish house. With a dam there to attract game fish and nowhere for them to go upstream, Whispering Falls had a reputation as a productive fishing hole. Smith sees some potential for improving fish habitat once the dam is gone, but isn't overly optimistic. "It's not going to be the fishing hole it was," he said. The good times he had catching game fish at the dam instilled a lifelong passion. "45 years ago, I picked up a fly rod, and it's taken me all over the country," Smith said. He recalled that when he and his brothers were young, they'd walk out onto the top of the dam when the river was low and look inside what they called the fish house. Occasionally, they'd see fish trapped inside the large concrete structure. In reality, the fish house was a flood control device that state added in 1941. No one seems to know how it worked, or whether it worked at all. The demolition process might yield clues. In the first phase of demolition, a 5-foot opening was made across a wide section of the northern part of the dam. The backhoe ripped out part of the temporary causeway, and water began to rush through the opening. This was done to lower the water level upstream so a team of volunteers could rescue freshwater mussels from the newly exposed riverbanks. Cody Fleece, a mussel specialist with Stantec, sorts and measures mussels in preparation for cataloging and moving them upstream for relocation. Cody Fleece explained the process. Fleece is a mussel specialist with Stantec. Fleece said with normal fluctuations in water levels, mussels can retreat to the sediment underwater. But when you lower a dam pool suddenly, it changes a lot faster, he added. The mussels, including species federally listed as threatened or endangered, would become stranded and die. On Tuesday, Fleece assembled 16 volunteers at the public river access site upstream from the dam. Most were from the Ohio Division of Wildlife and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. During an orientation session, he explained the scope and methodology of the rescue operation. The plan called for covering both sides of the river between the County Road 27 bridge and the dam. Teams would gather mussels from designated sections marked with bright orange surveyor's tape. By late afternoon, the teams gradually returned to the river access site. Fleece and others sorted the mussels by species, measured them, and cataloged the specific locations where they were found and by what team. All the mussels would then be relocated upstream. Cody Fleece of Stantec sorts mussels that are being relocated as part of the 6 Mile Dam demolition project. Mussel rescue operations are expected to continue through October the 12th. Once the natural flow of the river is reestablished, it will benefit fish and other aquatic life. It's also expected to enhance recreation for anglers and paddlers. Doug McLaren, Stewardship Director of the Ohio chapter of the American Canoe Association, stopped by Tuesday to check on the progress. He believes with more people taking up kayaking, this will provide a welcome alternative to already crowded rivers such as the Mohican and Kokosing. "This dam has vexed me my entire canoeing career of almost 60 years, McLaren said. "I've only known it as an obstacle and little of its history." Regardless, 6 Mile Dam's rich history will be preserved, as will the river, which has an even longer history, much longer. Come next year, the Walhonding River, from Mohawk Dam to its confluence with the Tuscarawas River in Coshocton, will flow free for the first time in 180 years. Timeline: October 1836. Contracts let for Walhonding Canal. Due to the economic climate, progress was sporadic. Information on exactly when the dam was built has been sketchy. It's likely around 1840. June 1st, 1842. Walhonding Canal opened for traffic. 1844. Plans to extend the Walhonding Canal by adding canals to Mount Vernon and Loudonville were abandoned. The canal ends in slack water downstream of present-day Cavallo. Canal boats were pulled to Cavallo. October 13th, 1896. Ohio abandons 17 miles of the canal above Lock 5. The 6-mile stretch was used as a feeder for the Ohio Erie Canal, then as a feeder for Ohio Hydroelectric Plant in Roscoe. 1904. Agreement reached to refurbish the canal systems with the state assuming responsibility for ensuring the stability of the dam. June 13, 1906. William Heinbaugh of Conshohocken entered a lease agreement with the state for the 6-mile stretch to supply a hydro plant he had planned to build. 1909. Dam rebuilt. 1916. Levee built, canal excavated, and island created to direct current away from the north end of the dam. 1941. Flood control mechanism added. January 10, 1952. Roscoe Hydroelectric Plant closed. 1961. Hydro plant raised for US 36 relocation. 2010. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources initiated decommission of the dam. 2014. Public stakeholder meeting conducted to solicit input from affected parties. October 5, 2020. Demolition began. October 6, 2020. Muscle relocation project began. Late October 2020. Projected removal completion. Christmas 2020. All demolition and rock work to be completed. Spring 2021. Contractor to finish amenities and plantings. Well, let's hear about the crime reports. In New Philadelphia, a male rode away on a black bike after stealing a cooler and filling it with merchandise, including candy, from Speedway at 1260 West High Avenue on Friday morning. Shoplifting was reported at Speedway 243 North Broadway on Thursday evening. A male wearing a black mask and riding a bicycle took about $60 worth of cigarettes, $15 to $20 in lottery tickets, a coin tray, lotion, and an air freshener were taken from an unlocked vehicle in the 700 block of 3rd Street Southwest, according to a report filed Thursday afternoon. A Yerkesville man is to be charged with shoplifting from Walmart on Thursday afternoon. He is banned from the store. Police told a man to leave the Walmart parking lot Thursday after it was learned he had been living there since the weekend. A vehicle was entered Wednesday night in the 400 block of Ellen Avenue Southwest. Sergeant Teresa Povey is looking for witnesses to a hit-skip crash that occurred in the 100 block of West High Avenue around 12:10 p.m. Friday. A black truck parked across from the Daily Grind was hit by an unknown vehicle. Please call 330-343-4488 with information. In Dover, burglary was reported Friday morning in the 1400 block of North Wooster Avenue. A door was kicked in, nothing was taken. 3 teen boys tried to steal a political yard sign in the 300 block of Franklin Drive on Thursday evenings. The owner got the sign back. Vehicle theft was reported Thursday afternoon in the 100 block of Cherry Street. In Yerkesville, a stolen motorcycle was found early Thursday afternoon in the alley in the 200 block of McConnell Street. Tire and rim were reported to have been stolen between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Thursday from a gray Nissan Murano at Maco's Market. Well, my friends, as you know, it's that time. This concludes the reading of the Times Reporter for Monday, October 12th. And this is Pam. Remember, please stay safe, be blessed, do what you can do to make today a really great day.